6 months ago, my Rottweiler ripped my tooth out from the root. I'll put a picture on the screen so you can see which tooth it was. And about 2 weeks ago, I got a tooth infection. And in this video, I'm going to show you all the things that I did to get rid of my tooth infection without going to the dentist and without taking any pharma meds. So when this incident happened, my Rottweiler was actually trying to warn me. And I don't know how it happened, but her tooth caught at the bottom of my tooth and lifted the entire tooth out and just knocked the corner of the one next to it. And initially I thought it was her tooth, and I was checking her mouth to make sure her fangs were there, and then I realized it was actually my tooth, and I was like, oh my fucking days. I'll go and look in the mirror, my entire bottom tooth is missing. So I'll quickly go onto ChatGPT and I was like, what do I do? And it told me that I need to go immediately to a dentist and get it reimplanted, and it said that I can either keep the tooth in milk or I can just put it back in. So I had a lot of adrenaline pumping through me at this point, and I basically just got the tooth and just shoved it back into my mouth and started looking for a dentist. And it was a bit fucked up because I live on an island and it happened Sunday at about 4:30 p.m. So yeah, imagine like trying to panic find a dentist at that time. And then anyways, I found one guy and he said he would put it back in for me. So what he did was he injected all around with some numbing stuff and then pushed the tooth back in. He spent about 15-20 minutes pushing the tooth back into place, and then put like essentially braces at the back of my teeth. So I had those in for about 5 months, and then they removed them because he said the tooth was stable now. And yeah, so then I got this infection about 2 weeks ago, and the thing is, I didn't want to go to the dentist because I know from the beginning what he was doing. He was already preparing me to have a root canal in that tooth, and I've done a lot of research into root canals and I know how toxic they are. There's actually a really, really good documentary I recommend everybody to watch, which has actually been banned from, it was on Netflix before and Amazon Prime, and they removed it. So the documentary is called The Root Cause, and you can find it on a website called BitChute. I think that they are banned in the UK. I'm not sure about the US, but definitely that website is banned in the UK. So you can just use a VPN and go to another country and go on to BitChute that way. So the documentary is called The Root Cause, and it's all about how much of a scam root canals are and how toxic they are to your body. So yeah, for me, I already, going into the dentist, I already saw how they were pretty much like prepping me to get a root canal with their language, and I didn't fall for it because I already know what the dentists do. I know how their procedures work and stuff, so I just whatever went over my head. And then throughout the appointments, he kept saying, maybe you're gonna need a root canal, but we'll keep it in check. And then when they removed my brace, there's like a little dark spot in the x-ray, and that's actually really normal when you have a tooth reimplanted. And he was just making, I felt like he was already scaring me, trying to say that, oh, this could develop into really bad root infection, your tooth could reabsorb and all this stuff like that. And cool, like, yeah, all of that could happen, but I'm not interested in getting a root canal. So I'm going to try every single natural method possible to fix my teeth. Yeah, otherwise I'm getting it pulled out. I'm not having a dead tooth sit in my mouth and create toxicity in my body. So I'm going to go through all the things that I did to actually get rid of a tooth infection. This tooth infection was really fucking painful. Like, it was pulsing, my whole jaw was hurting, I had a fever and everything, and I'm completely clear of everything. I didn't take any antibiotics, which is what I know that they would have given to me if I went to the dentist. So first thing I took was raw garlic. So the first day I felt like something's coming up, I started taking 1 clove of garlic. Then the next day 2, next day 3, and I've kept it at 3 since then. And I'm going to keep it going for another 2 weeks. I'm taking 3 raw garlic cloves first thing in the morning. on an empty stomach. And how it works is you want to chop up the garlic, because the active compound in garlic called allicin only activates when it's chopped. So you want to chop it up, leave it for about 10 minutes. And how I take it is I basically chop it up, put it on a spoon, and then just kind of place the raw garlic in my mouth and just swallow a bunch of water, and that's how I get it done. I mean, you can chew it, but who wants to chew raw garlic? It's not the nicest, you know. And this is the star of the show. I think this is the reason that my tooth infection went away, because raw garlic has been used for thousands and thousands of years before modern medicine existed, and it's used as a natural antibiotic. It's used to clear any bacterial infections in your body. It's used to kill parasites and detox the body. It's absolutely amazing. I'll make a whole separate video about raw garlic for you guys. So with the garlic, you want to make sure that you're using this at least a week after it feels like the infection has cleared, because you want to make sure that all the bacterial load is gone. So don't stop using it just because it feels like it's gone. Another thing people do with raw garlic is they mash it up and they apply it directly onto the tooth. And I honestly tried this and it hurt like hell. Like, I couldn't deal with the pain of that, so I didn't do it. But I've seen other people who have had really, really good results applying it locally. So if you can handle that pain, then try that out as well. That would be good. The second thing I used, which helped so much, was hydrogen peroxide mouth rinses. So hydrogen peroxide is also antibacterial, and it just overall reduces the bacterial load in your mouth. So with hydrogen peroxide, you can buy it in many different concentrations, but the one you want to use for your mouth is 1.5%. So if you've bought 3%, you want to use 1 part hydrogen peroxide, 1 part water. If you've bought 6%, you want to use 1 part hydrogen peroxide, 3 parts water, etc. So just dilute it down. And another thing to note with the hydrogen peroxide is you don't want to pre-dilute it. You want to dilute it like right before you use it, because it can become quite unstable when it's been diluted. So yeah, don't pre-dilute it. And you want to use this mouthwash in the morning and in the evening after brushing your teeth, and swish it around your mouth for about 2 minutes, then spit it out and rinse your mouth out and make sure that it's all out. So hydrogen peroxide is antibacterial and it kills all the harmful bacteria in your mouth. And it also has like this kind of fizzing sensation, so it helps to dislodge any bits of food that are stuck between your teeth. Third thing I did was doing saltwater gargles after every single meal. So I only really eat twice a day, so I did saltwater gargle after every single meal to make sure all the food debris is out of my mouth and not sitting there festering and creating more bacteria. Fourth thing is coconut oil pulling first thing in the morning. So as soon as you wake up, you want to take about a tablespoon of this oil and swish it around in your mouth for 20 minutes. And 20 minutes is really important when you have an active infection, because it makes sure that you get all of the toxins into the oil. And you do not want to swallow this oil, because what it's doing is it's getting all of the bacteria toxins in your mouth into the oil. So this is something you want to spit out. So one thing I do to make my life easier is I pre-make this coconut oil and clove essential oil mixture. So in here is 100% organic cold pressed coconut oil, and I've added 2 drops of clove essential oil per 15 ml of coconut oil. So yeah, just figure out. This is 250 ml and I've added 33 drops of clove essential oil, and I basically keep this next to my bed. So in the morning when I wake up, I peel off my mouth tape and I just take a swig of this and keep it in my mouth for 20 minutes while I'm making my bed and, you know, just getting ready for the morning. So when you have something wrong in your mouth, you want to do a bit longer, so about 20 minutes. On a normal day, you can get away with 10 or 15 minutes if you're short on time, but 20 minutes is a sweet spot for oil pulling. So the next thing that I did was I took some bicarbonate soda and I added a couple drops of tea tree essential oil. And after brushing my teeth with my herbal toothpaste, I got the bicarb on the toothbrush and I brush my teeth with the bicarbonate tea tree essential oil. And what this does is the bicarbonate soda balances the pH in your mouth, and it's also antibacterial, and same with tea tree oil, it's antibacterial, so it's an amazing thing to use after the toothbrush just to get all the extra bacteria out. So the next thing that I do is I tongue scrape, and you want to do this every time you brush your teeth. So you just put it in your mouth and pull downwards and get all the plaque off your tongue. And this is very, very important when you have a tooth infection, because you want to do as many things as possible to reduce the bacterial load in your mouth. And copper is also naturally antibacterial and antifungal, so amazing for this. And the last thing I do is I tape my mouth shut before I sleep. So this one isn't directly linked to a tooth infection, but mouth breathing dries your mouth out and reduces saliva production, and this creates a breeding ground for bacteria in your mouth. When you tape your mouth shut at night, it encourages nasal breathing, and when you breathe through your nose, it actually filters the air and humidifies it. And it also boosts nitric oxide, which fights bacteria. So things like the oil pulling, tongue scraping, and mouth taping I do daily anyways, but I'm actually going to start brushing my teeth daily with bicarb now, because I've noticed some really good results. And hydrogen peroxide, I'm going to continue that as well once a day, because it actually helps with whitening your teeth, and it's just a really great all natural mouthwash without any unnecessary toxic chemicals like the commercial ones you see, which are full of alcohol and so many disgusting chemicals. Raw garlic, I honestly love to do a raw garlic detox like every couple months, because it's really good for parasites, but I'm going to make a whole other video about this. Another thing you could do when your tooth is really hurting, even if you have no infection, you just have pain there, you can get a clove and just put it between your lip and your gum and leave it there, and it will kind of create like this numbing, pain relieving effect. And you know, for a lot of people, their tooth pain just goes away the next day, but if it's continuing, just keep doing that for a couple days, and changing the clove throughout the day, and that's supposed to also work really well too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and comment down below your natural remedies that you use to help keep your teeth clean and heal any infections if you get any. Have a good day. Bye bye.